Hello and welcome to another video Zoom meeting from your University of New Money, University of New Mercy. This is going to be the day 241 video of being sober, and I was planning on this being a light Friday video, and then I was texting my DC friend this morning and mentioning Ovechkin and his opinions of Putin and the whole Russia-Ukraine conflict. And I could see, definitely she was passionate about what she believes in, and I respect that, and I actually agree with most of her opinions. And so that got me thinking, maybe for 40 minutes today, I want to talk about sports and politics, as maybe that's the topic I need to touch on. I started the week with Phil Mickelson and the N-word and touching on those kind of topics. And so let's finish the week strong, I guess. Let me go ahead and accept my Zoom recording on my devices. Down here is Swizzle, sleeping as usual. Sleeps most of the day. As long as she's not in pain and healthy and happy, then I'm one happy guy. So let me go ahead and make sure that I'm sharing my screen correctly. You've had enough of me. Full version put me in a little tiny corner. And again, as I get into these topics, my opinions are always changing. So I'm not set firm in what I believe today. That's not what I may believe tomorrow or even after this video. So sometimes I just brainstorm during the video. In fact, even texting my friend is, I thought about it, I think earlier in the week I talked about Putin, maybe he's not a monster. And really after texting her again and looking into it, he probably is a monster. So, my opinions are always changing, and sometimes I may not even speak what I truly believe. Sometimes just stuff comes out of my mouth and then I think about it later and I'm like, yeah, that was wrong. So let me go ahead and share my screen here. And we'll get sounds going in the background, the usual. Should be nice and quiet, so I don't really have to talk loud over it. Going over the price up. Oh, let me move me. I'm gonna make me. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna do me horizontally today. Okay, the prices have been updated for today, Friday, February. Living in the past. March 4th, 2022, Bitcoin is $40,767. Ethereum, $2,676.49. XRP, 73.81 cents. Litecoin, $104.89. Dogecoin, 12.67 cents. SafeMoon, 0.13 cents. VeChain, 5.14 cents. Energy Web Token, $5.05. Cronus, about 41 cents. Aqua BNB LP at Planet Finance, $406. Gamma, 18 cents. Gamma BNB LP at Planet Finance, $17.27. Aqua, just under $100. And Songbird, 7.76 cents. Looking from Bitcoin lows, January 24th, 2022. Bitcoin's up about 19%. XRP nicely up 27%. Cronus about 19%, but SafeMoon down over 21%. Gamma down 28%. Come on, Infinity Vaults, come out. We need some momentum with Planet Finance. My faith isn't wavering in the project. I'm as strong as ever. In fact, I think this makes it such a great buying opportunity, but I want to see some positive movement. I'm not lying. Yeah, Swizzle sleeping through all this. That's amazing. Taking a look at the changes from the 3rd to the 4th. SafeMoon was up 7%, so we've been getting a little bit of rallying these last couple of days for SafeMoon. Nothing in the red or blue, just SafeMoon in the green. There's not major movement over the last day. Daily tab updated, day change, percent from all-time highs. Nothing really new. The graph, you can see a downward trend again with Bitcoin. We got this roller coaster of a year going 2022. It's a downward movement again for Bitcoin and the Gamma BNB LP. Don't forget to check out the projection tab, BTC Proj tab, goals tab, how much tab to help you guys with your own financial planning to achieve life-changing wealth through Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Updated the recap week tab, week change and percent change weekly tabs, as it is Friday, the end of the week. Haven't really looked at the graph. Hopefully the graph is updating. I'm doing this on the fly. Yeah, it looks like the graph is fine. Things all over the place. What else is new? Okay. Let's move it back there. Config tab, DFS tabs. I'll probably be playing DFS later today. Go Wizards against the Hawks. Huge game for the Wizards to stay in playoff contention. Expecting big things from Kyle Kuzma and Ice Trae Young. This is the stuff I want to cover today. So again, I don't want to drag this on too long, so we have a lot of stuff to get into. Just giving you a highlight of what I want to talk about. And in fact, I think that's enough for the cryptocurrency update. Starting to jump into this. The 8 main things I want to talk about, and then I'll give you my own conclusion. Actually, I guess. Okay, I was trying to think. I know I had 8 articles up, and one of them has to do with my conclusion. In fact, we can start doing a sneak peek on this. Oh, this is interesting. I can't click on my tabs because my camera is blocking it. You know what? Maybe I'm actually going to put me out of the way here. Well, since I accidentally moved that instead. Oh, okay, it was a crypto article about how Russia's Ukraine invasion is crypto's moment of truth. Okay, yeah, that definitely has to do with my conclusion. Yeah, I'm going to leave me there because I am just going to cancel these tabs as I go through them. Let's put it on the first one here. Make sure it comes up. Dominik Hasek calling on NHL to suspend all Russian players due to the conflict between the Russia and the Ukraine. So I want to talk about this. Dominik Hasek, do you think that all Russians should be banned from sports? You know, is it their fault that their president, Putin, is invading Ukraine? Which will lead us into Ovechkin in a second. I don't want to jump around too much. Black Lives Matter. Does that mean that all blacks should be banned from sports? I mean, if we're saying that all Russians should be banned from sports, shouldn't all blacks be banned from sports? Because, you know, Black Lives Matter, all they do is riot and cause chaos in America. What do you guys think about that? Alexander Ovechkin, a star player for the Capitals. Should Alexander Ovechkin support Putin? Should he make a stand? Should he be quiet? What do you think about him? Should he face scrutiny? Should he be suspended? In tennis, you have Ukrainian athletes. I know specifically one Ukrainian female who's standing against Russian. She refuses to play against Russian athletes. Putin, is he a monster? Is he misunderstood? I mean, I know we had a lot of chaos when President Trump was in office, and you know, you had people talking bad against Trump, bad against Putin. Well, is it all real news? Is it fake news? What is it? The Dixie Chicks, my friend brought this up this morning when I was texting her, and you know, she mentioned how they spoke out politically against Bush, and their career was ruined. And so, you know, just discussing, should you be public politically or should you be quiet to have a successful career? Sports and politics, should they be mixed or should they be kept separate? Swizzle's getting up. Let me put her away. Here we go. I'll get to show her in front of the camera again like usual.
Motherfuckers, truth is fuck. Fucking get fucked. Make your own luck. Basics you plug.
Hey guys.
Don't interrupt. Make it the book. Don't be dumb as fuck. Never get stuck. Or you stick a truck. Get out untucked. Bad drinking truck. Don't give a fuck. Disorderly conduct. We self-destruct like volcano erupt. Fearless as a curd. Crazier than you heard. Don't let the lights get blurred. I'm a night bird. Spearfish your password. All your thoughts strands.
Okay, back to business. Everything's set up again. And then finally, where do I stand with Putin, Black Lives Matters, athletes? Spoiler alert, you know, I'm going to stand with Bitcoin and crypto. Is, you know, with all the chaos in the world, the pandemic and political turmoil, both locally in the United States and abroad, is ultimately, I think Bitcoin and crypto is going to win out. So whether or not you agree with my actual opinions on sports and athletes, and, you know, whether you should be private or public with your political views, hopefully you still side with me on crypto, that you think this is going to lead to life-changing wealth and make the world a better place. Okay, so jumping into the articles. Should have checked to see when I started this recording. Well, I'll just try to go through these as quickly but as thoroughly as possible. Hall of Famer Dominik Hasek calls on NHL to suspend Russian players, slams Alex Ovechkin as a chicken shit. Ovechkin seemingly avoided criticizing Putin while reiterating his call for peace. So definitely trying to walk that fine line. You know, he is Russian. He wants to support his president, but he also knows he's going to get heavy scrutiny here, especially in the United States, for supporting Putin. So, you know, he tried to walk that fine line, but I don't think it went over that well. My friend's not too happy with him or the Capitals. So NHL legend and Hall of Fame goaltender Dominik Hasek slammed the Washington Capitals on Saturday for his remarks on Russia's invasion of Ukraine, asked to suspend the contracts of all Russian players. Hasek, who is an all-time legend in the NHL, called Ovechkin an alibiist and liar. after asking for an end to the conflict. What? Not only an alibiist, a chicken shit, but also a liar. Every adult in Europe knows well that Putin is a mad killer and that Russia is waging an offensive war against the free country and its free people, Hasek said. The NHL must immediately suspend contracts for all Russian players and take responsibility for the dead in Ukraine. And at least Hasek did acknowledge that while not every Russian athlete supports Putin, suspending all of them is a necessity. I think that's the big gist of this article. So what do you think? Do you think the NHL needs to suspend all Russians? Do you think sports should suspend all Russians? Kind of like I believe FIFA took some action against the Russian national team in soccer. So, you know, this definitely leads down a slippery slope. Is, you know, if you're born Russian, it's kind of like being born black, which is going to lead into my next topics. But should you be banned for who you are? Should you be banned because you're a woman and you support, this is Women's History Month. And so if you're a woman supporting women's history, should you be banned as a woman supporting that kind of thing? If you're Russian, should you be banned, whether or not you support Putin? Now, I mean, that leads to Ovechkin. You know, he seems to be a solid supporter of his president, Putin. And so there is a difference between him and other Russians who are publicly denouncing the war, asking for peace. So there is a difference there. But, you know, I personally think that you got to let them play, as these are athletes. And sure, they might be Russian, and what their country is doing to Ukraine is wrong. But they're just trying to play a game, provide entertainment for us, and they're not making a political statement. They're Russian, and that's it. Now, if they're publicly out there either defending Putin, I mean, if they're fighting against Putin, I doubt they'll get suspended. If anything, they have a better chance of playing. But, you know, just because of who they are, should they be banned? I don't think so. I think that takes it a step too far, which leads into our Black Lives Matter article. Oops, I didn't mean to click it. I already have it open. Well, it's coming up anyway. Is there anything else I wanted to talk about, Hasek? I feel like I kind of rushed through that with the analysis. Is that, you know, I hate saying that somebody can play or cannot play because of who they are, whether it's race, ethnicity, gender. And so when you get to start saying that you got to ban people because they're Russian, to me that gets to that point where it's nothing they can control. And so to say that the Russians cannot play, I just don't think that's good for the NHL. I would actually be upset if the NHL suspended Russians. Now, whether you want to boycott the NHL because they let Russians play, that's up to you. My friend said she's not going to go see any Capital games for a while. So, you know, that's fine if you want to make a stand against the NHL, or my dad made a stand against the NFL and not watching football games because they support Black Lives Matter, which supports rioting. And sure, he's for black people. He was a police officer and worked with many black people during his career, but Black Lives Matter, he thinks, is an evil organization that's, you know, just bringing down America. So he would not watch NFL games this year. So let's go ahead and jump into that article here. They're gonna make me pay for it. Seriously? Reach my limit of free articles. What, did it open elsewhere? That's really annoying. Huh. I wonder if I can refresh this. When freedom means the right to destroy. On Sunday, the Canadian Peace finally cleared away anti-vaccine demonstrators. Okay, kind of got through that. I might have to get creative here to get to what I wanted to talk about, which is that talked about Black Lives Matter causing millions of damages in America. Well, you know what? Forget this. So you got BLM privilege. You got the amount of rioting that's been happening in America. Black Lives Matter continues to harm America. Let's check this article out. This might be a good substitute. Again, this is what happens when you try to do things on the fly. Okay. Black Lives Matter continues to harm America, money problems aside. We now know that Black Lives Matter remains leaderless and refuses to account for more than $60 million worth of damage to America. The push to reprogram children with Marxist dogma is unlikely to end. The recent reports as they are unlikely to get much media attention. The Black Lives Matter's legacy may not convince the media to look at what is happening with Black Lives Matter. I don't know what GNF is, but perhaps our leaders should sit up and take note. Thousands of people continue to suffer from the mayhem Black Lives Matter has created. Of course, America's changed forever due to BLM. You got defund the police, which at least President Biden in his State of the Union said, no, we need to really fund the police. Okay, so I don't know if I can really get much out of these articles, but I guess the point of me asking this question is, should blacks be banned from all sports? And of course, if that happened, there would be rioting, there would be Civil War #2 in America, which is why I think banning all Russians from sports is ridiculous, because if you did the same thing with blacks, there would be chaos in the street. Like you said, let's ban all Hispanics from sports. Can't do that. Let's ban women from sports. Let's just quit watching women's sports. I mean, you can't do that to a certain group of people. And so whether you agree with Dominik Hasek or Black Lives Matter, I don't think these people should be banned. With that being said, what's going on with the actual individuals or organizations? Dominik Hasek, I don't really know his exact beliefs. Obviously, he's strongly against Russians and what's going on in Europe. He was an excellent goaltender back in the day. I think he's asking for too much. Black Lives Matter, I think they're doing too much. Yes, I mean, have there been injustices against black people in America? Of course. Does that mean you need to go riot in the streets and ask to defund the police and cause chaos in America? Of course not. They've made their point known. We had the black halftime show for the Super Bowl with Snoop Dogg and all of them. You had one white guy, Eminem, just because they had to. Otherwise, it's all black, and you can't do that. You got to have one white guy. So, in terms of Black Lives Matter, no. I think this is taking it too far. Now, hopefully we get into some topics that we can really elaborate on, because I think it's pretty clear. Blacks should not be banned from sports. Russians should not be banned from sports. These organizations are a little bit extreme, and I'm including Hasek as an organization since I put the mouse around him. But let's check out Alexander Ovechkin in detail. Let's jump into him for the day and see what we find out about him. How do I have this organized? Oh, maybe that was the other article. Maybe I did close it accidentally. Okay, so Russia-Ukraine war. Alexander Ovechkin finds sympathy from Capital's GM admitted invasion. That's right, I had a couple of Fox News articles. I had the one with Dominik Hasek and then this one. So here, Washington Capitals general manager Brian McClellan defended star forward Alexander Ovechkin Wednesday amid pressure Russian players throughout the NHL are facing following Russia's attacks on Ukraine, and saying that he's a good person who's been put in a hard situation. And I agree with all that. I wouldn't want to be Alexander Ovechkin right now. Has he brought some of it upon himself? Yes, because he's defended Putin. And even today, I don't know if he's come down here. I mean, this is what McClellan said. It's difficult for all the Russian players in the league. There's a lot of pressure on them to have a political opinion either way, and they're trying to balance how they live their lives and what their political opinions are and the repercussions that could happen back home. I think that's totally true. If they come out and speak against Putin, then they're going against their country. If they go and support Putin, of course they're going to get backlash from Americans and the rest of the world. So if they don't take any stand, and I'm going to get to that in this topic here, is what happens if you try to keep sports and politics separate. Back in the day, you had Michael Jordan saying Republicans buy sneakers, but can you do that in this day and age? I don't think so. So, Ovechkin's a good person, takes things personally, face of the franchise. This is from Ovechkin saying that, he is my president, but how I said I am not in politics, I'm an athlete. And how I said I hope everything is going to be done soon, Ovechkin said. It's a hard situation right now for both sides and everything. Everything I hope is going to end. I'm not in control of this situation. And that's him taking about as politically correct an approach as you can, trying to support his president and saying that he hopes the conflict is over soon. And so getting to the question, should Ovechkin support Putin? Well, as an American, I feel I have to support my president. I'm supporting President Biden right now. I may strongly disagree with a lot of his policies, just spending money at will, but I'm going to support him. As you know, I feel supporting the president is the right thing to do as an American, and it doesn't mean he can't speak out against his policies and he can't speak out against him in general, but I'm still going to support him. I want him to do well. If he does poorly, the country's probably going to do poorly, and I'm probably going to do poorly. Supported President Trump, supported President Obama, supported both President Bushes and President Clinton. I was born right around when President Reagan was around. I was a kid, but go Reagan, good guy. I was actually born into the Carter administration for like a week, so at least I didn't have to deal with that too long. But anyway, should he support Putin? I mean, obviously, reading into Putin, I think he is a monster. I think he's a bad guy, shouldn't be invading Ukraine, but it is his president. Should he make a stand? Well, if he said absolutely nothing, he's going to get criticized for that. I think he made the most politically correct statement possible, and he's getting criticized for that. Should he be stronger supporting Putin? Well, he'd probably create even more chaos. And should he denounce Putin? Well, then he'd probably be called a hypocrite because he supported Putin in the past. So I think it's an absolutely no-win situation for Ovechkin. He cannot win whatever he does in this situation. So I feel bad for the guy, but my friend said she's not going to support him or the Capitals, with the situation being what it is, and I support her decision too. Is, she doesn't like what's going on, with the Russia and Ukraine situation, and she feels Ovechkin and the organization, the Capitals, could be doing more, and they're just really sitting back, and she doesn't like that. That's fine. I totally respect that. Let's see. I hate to have to move the whole camera. I'm just going to do it. Okay, so I want to close this article because I got to it. Now I think we're back on track. We have 6 articles left. Does that sound right? Says we should have 5. Oh, that's because we have this stupid New York Times article. Thanks a lot. Well, I found a substitute. Don't need the New York Times. Everybody knows that. So close that. Now I think we're back on track. Where'd my camera go? Oh, here I am. That puts me... Maybe I'll do it this way. That's what it's easier to see my tabs and to give you a change of view from me being horizontal to vertical again. Okay, Ukrainian Alina Svitolina. What is this? Svitolina. I'm going to go with that. Top-ranked woman at Monterey Open refuses to play against Russian. And here she is saying she will not participate in the Monterey Open if she has to face an opponent from Russia or Belarus. She'd rather withdraw from the Mexican event than face athletes from the 2 countries as they're involved with the invasion of Ukraine. That's pretty much the gist of the article. So what do you think about that? Should she make a stand against Russians? I mean, in some ways, I'd almost think she'd want to play them and kick their ass. I don't know. I would think that would make more headlines. I mean, it's kind of like when you had black athletes going to Nazi Germany and showing that the Aryan race was not all that good. I don't know. So I would kind of rather see her do that. But if she wants to make a stand and get publicity doing that, it's women's tennis. I can't imagine she would get much publicity doing anything else. So, making a stand, at least she has a CBSSports.com article about her. And, whether that means tennis organizations are going to say she doesn't have to play Russians, they'll sort of reorganize tournaments around that, or whether she just sits out, makes a stand that way, whether the Russians withdraw, just say that they support her in her stand. Who knows what's going to happen there, but we'll see what ends up happening. Okay, again, to understanding Putin. Scheming Russian despot's destiny lies in God's hands. I guess everything lies in God's hands, but whatever. Will Vladimir Putin invade Ukraine, or is the Russian president only prolonging a needless crisis? Is this an older article? Because they've already invaded. This is from middle of February, so this is more about just understanding him. So, he's a tyrant. He's arrogant, overconfident, sowing the seeds of his own eventual demise. Putin just wants respect. And even just stopping there, I mean, that's a case where there is both sides. I think in general, Vladimir Putin is probably a monster. He shouldn't be invading the Ukraine. He's doing it to try to get the Soviet Union back together to get control over natural gas and oil pipelines. But the Ukrainians are innocent. It's not like they provoked Putin or anything. So in general, I think he's in the wrong. But at the same time, is he misunderstood? Well, of course, being Russia, he gets no respect from the United States and most countries around the world, which is where Bitcoin can help countries like North Korea, Russia, Iran, countries which are sanctioned by the United States and others. It can help them still function and grow. Should these countries and their citizens be destined to fail? I feel most bad for the citizens. I could care less about the governments or the countries themselves, but the citizens, for them to suffer. What if I was born in Iran or North Korea or Russia? I would be suffering with I wish I was suffering with Alexander Ovechkin, what he's going through, being a multimillionaire hockey player, one of the greatest of all time. I wish I had that problem, but still, in all seriousness, I was born in America. I was blessed to be that, born into the greatest superpower in the world, a country of great freedoms, with its own problems. Obviously, it's not a perfect country, but it's a great country. I love being an American. So, it's tough, but I don't know. I'm gonna leave it there. Let's jump into the Dixie Chicks, because I think we're already on the Corona song from Razzle Khan, and so I don't know if we have that much time left. I'm going to the Dixie Chicks, and this is a story I don't remember that much about. I had to refresh my memory this morning, texting my friend, but when the Chicks stood up against President George W. Bush. They're an iconic outfit in country music, formed as the Dixie Chicks in '89. I remember them coming out. In Dallas, Texas, the group would quickly rise to popularity. By the millennium, they had become one of the most lauded groups in American history and best-selling all-female band of all time. They were always one of the most controversial acts in country music. The genre's establishment and fans were offended by the provocative style and feisty songs, as well as the fact they had a crossover appeal, with their records being bought by kids who are usually concerned with all things pop culture and not the overly romanticized idea of the antebellum. So, most notably, after 9/11, many of Americans' country's biggest stars adopted a more patriotic and belligerent thematic standpoint. Try talking fast and start stumbling over my words. Apologize for that. Take a breath and slow down. Okay. In late 2001, country megastar Toby Keith released, courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue, The Angry American, and Daryl Worley released The Call to Arms, Have You Forgotten? But on March 10th, 2003, a year and a half after the horrific 9/11 attacks and 9 days prior to the invasion of Iraq, the front woman of the Chicks, Natalie Maines, criticized President Bush and the invasion during a show at London's Shepherd Bush Empire. But before the song Traveling Soldier, Maines proclaimed, "Just so you know, we're on the good side with y'all. We do not want this war, this violence, and we're ashamed that the President of the United States is from Texas. But and this is from one of the other band members, we're 100% behind the troops. We're behind the troops 100%. The typical of the media, the second comment was not reported. They didn't mention that part, just the negative first part. And a furor ensued. American country listeners were enraged, and the Chicks found themselves in a predicament. Overnight, they were blacklisted by thousands of country stations, criticized by country peers, and shockingly received numerous death threats. The backlash seriously damaged the Chicks' music sales and lost them a sponsorship with Lipton. Famously, protesters in Bossier City, Louisiana, used a tractor to destroy the Chicks' CD and other merch. The anger was so extreme, the Marines, that they labeled Maines as a traitor for not supporting Bush. They tried to fix this, apologizing, but their reputation was forever damaged, their careers destroyed. And so that's them speaking out against a president of the United States, against a war they do not believe in. And so this is a case where should you be public politically or quiet? In their case, if they wanted to continue their country music success, they should have been quiet, but they stood up for what they believed in. And so overall, if they believed strongly in what they believed in, that the president was doing wrong things going into Iraq, then they did the right thing. Sure, they had to face the repercussions many people have dealt with in history. Colin Kaepernick, his career was ruined. Right now you've got, Flores former head coach of the Dolphins, who's now an assistant with the Steelers, I believe. He's threatened his future career being in the NFL, speaking against the NFL and their hiring practices against blacks. So once you speak up, of course you're threatening your livelihood, but if you're doing it for a cause you believe in, if you think you can make a real change down the road, then the Dixie Chicks did the right thing. And, you know, if you still believe in their music, if you believe in them, I mean, you should be able to buy their music today, especially with things advancing since they were around in the early 2000s. Now with YouTube, now with the internet, it's a lot easier to be more independent of mainstream media and the mainstream music industry, as they could release their music independently and people who really like them could buy it. It's kind of like Louis C.K., the comedian, is sure he's been essentially blacklisted as a comedian, as he'll never probably be on HBO or any big special again, but he's releasing his own independent stand-up specials, which you can pay, I think, like $10 online. So if you still really like Louis C.K. like I do, you can just buy his work from his website. It's the same with the Dixie Chicks. So if you believe in something politically, go ahead and do it, and you should still be able to make a living, I believe. But of course, it would still hurt the amount of money you can make in the long term. Okay, we're on the vacuum song, so we are running out of time. Okay, we got 9 minutes left, so should be able to wrap this up in 9 minutes. Okay, getting to the next article. Like athletes, corporate leaders shifting in how they tackle social issues. These days, corporate executives feel pressure to address diversity, equity, and climate change as part of their jobs. So in The Last Dance, the famous statement that, you know, Republicans wear footwear too, you know, Michael Jordan not trying to make a stand against Republicans, but trying to sell his shoes. And, you know, that was just a different day and age. And so, sure, his statement may have been intended in jest, but it was a serious reflection of the distance between corporate and political disclosure of the times. In this day and age, now that you fast forward 20, 30 years, now you have to make a statement. LeBron James is way more vocal than Michael Jordan was back in his day. And so it just gets to, should sports and politics mix or be kept separate? And this is going to be a debate which rages on forever. In some ways, I like the idea of keeping them separate, sort of like church and state. Sports and politics don't mix them. As when I watch sports, I want to be entertained. I want to see athletes doing amazing things I could never even dream of doing. And I don't care if they support Biden, if they're far right wing, if they're far left wing. I don't really care where they stand. If they can put a ball in a hoop better than I could ever dream of doing it, if they could, you know, do flips and hurdles and run faster and do whatever better than I can, I want to enjoy them for that. At the same time, these people, these athletes also have a stage which other people don't have. As athletes are admired, they're put on a pedestal, they're revered, and people want to know their opinions. And people like LeBron James, Michael Jordan can have a huge impact on society. Look at women's soccer recently getting their landmark settlement, because they felt they were treated unfairly, paid way less than they should be. They fought against society and they won. You know, it feels like make sure I get my facts straight here. I'm pretty sure they did pretty well. Women's soccer.
So you're uninvited to my next party. I know
yeah, landmark win for fairness, according to CNN. $24 million settlement between the women's national team. After a history of unequal pay. So yeah, $24 million between the United States Soccer Federation and women's national team is a reminder that the bottom line continues to be clear: empower women's sports to get results, but don't wait for results to invest in women's sports. So it's just trying to get some more equity between women. As you know, wages between men and women have always been unequal and just, and so just trying to make that line clearer and more fair is a good thing for society. It is Women's History Month, and I'm a fan of women. Is again texting my female friend from DC. We have a strong friendship, a strong bond, and I get a lot out of her. Hopefully she gets a lot out of me. And she made me think a lot this morning. I wasn't going to do this morning, but it made me deep into my own beliefs and what I want to talk about. And that's a good thing, is you shouldn't just hide those things away. And whether I'm right or wrong, whether I was stumbling, bumbling, whether I made any sense or not for 40 minutes, who knows? But I tried my best there. But anyway, getting back here, since we are running out of time, where do I stand? This will sort of summarize everything we've got. So this is a good place to finish here. Where do I stand? It's a confusing world. It's hard for me to say exactly what my beliefs are because they are constantly changing. I guess I don't think people should be banned from sports. I think you should use this as a chance to make a stand. So instead of that tennis player withdrawing from playing Russian, she should try to play them and kick their ass and make a stand that way. That's my belief. Let the blacks play, even with Black Lives Matter being a negative for society, I believe. Let the Russians play, whether or not they support President Putin. Is Putin a monster? Yes, I think he is in general, but of course, I'm sure there's a good side to him. But what's happening with the conflict with Ukraine definitely is not good. I hope the conflict is resolved as soon as possible. I hate seeing lives lost over this. The Dixie Chicks, they are a story of being politically public versus Ovechkin, who is more politically private. I mean, he is a publicly known Putin supporter, but with his latest statement, he tried to walk it as politically correct as possible, and he's still getting criticism. So who do you think should get more criticism? Alexander Ovechkin, for trying to walk the company line and say he hopes the conflict is resolved soon, but he still supports his president, or the Dixie Chicks, who flat out said President Bush is wrong, we shouldn't be going into Iraq. Should politics and sports mix? I mean, it is nice to see our athletes as real people and see where they stand politically, religiously, spiritually, on whatever views you're interested in. It is good to know your athletes on a deeper personal level, but at the same time, if you're interested in watching them play a sport, I want to watch them for their athleticism, for how well they have mastered their craft, which I can only dream of. And so where do I stand with Putin? Yeah, bad guy. Hopefully things are resolved soon. Black Lives Matter. Again, I'm for Black people, definitely. My best friend, who I've known since kindergarten, is Black, and there's definitely been inequities against African Americans, but I believe Black Lives Matter have taken things way too far. But it has brought it to our attention. I will give them credit for that, as they have forced us to analyze George Floyd and innocent killing of African Americans by police officers. Of course, it works the other way. The African American police officer who was killed during that time got virtually no press coverage. But I am gonna have to shut this off soon. Where do I really stand? I stand with Bitcoin and crypto. This is crypto industry's moment of truth. For nearly a decade, we've said that we need moments like this, and so Russia's war on Ukraine, you've got Russians and Ukrainians investing in Bitcoin because they're trying to get out of their crappy local fiat currencies. It's providing relief to the Ukraine. It's given options for Russians, with all the sanctions that's been put onto them. And so it's given them a way out, which I think is good. And of course, if you need any more insight into what I believe with crypto, watch almost literally every one of my other videos, which I'm going to right here. Go to YouTube, check out my videos. I'm going to try to quickly get my intro in. Hello and welcome to another video from your University of New Money, University of New Mercy. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit all notifications. That way you're notified of all future videos that come out from the channel. Hope you enjoyed this video. Take care. Okay, it looks like I got it in just in time. I have less than 2 minutes left, so I'm going to wrap it up here. Please leave comments in the comments section, your own opinions, what you'd like me to speak on in future videos, what you think. Am I totally wrong? Am I totally right? Hopefully I've made my opinions known. Again, I'm still learning about what I really believe in this world, but one thing I do believe in is you guys. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and get notified of all videos which come out from the channel. Please help me grow as big as I can, reach as many people as I can, have the biggest impact in this world that I can. Again, and hopefully we can just talk about these sort of issues in a nice open forum. You might have your own strong beliefs. I have my weaker and stronger beliefs, and I try to make them known, but I'm always willing to learn. You guys teach me a lot. Hopefully I can teach you a lot. Here's the disclaimer. Have a great rest of your day. God bless.
A very strange day is coming to America. In short, a massive and surprising new transition.
Thank you again for watching this video from your UNM.NU. This is the disclaimer. This is not financial advice. The information from UNM.NU, University of New Money, and University of New Mercy, and any of these other likenesses is provided for educational, informational, and entertainment purposes only, without any express or implied warranty of any kind, including warranties of accuracy, completeness, or fitness for any particular purpose. Again, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. That way you're notified of all future videos which come out from the channel. Again, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you're looking forward to the next one, and take care.